let's talk about compensators because there's like a lot of them now, and I know it can be a little bit confusing. We sort of have all the options laid out here, and I'm going to explain kind of the differences and what the considerations are if you're choosing one over the other, and so forth. First, the simplest one to point out is the thread-on compensator. So this is a thread-on compensator, which of course is available as an accessory. We designed this compensator to interface perfectly with a shadow system slide. So I'm showing it to you on this FDE gun, which I think looks really cool. And you can see where those ears go back over the recesses or the chamfers on the slide and create a really nice, seamless appearance. So this compensator is about $100, and it has a single port design, aluminum construction. Importantly, the screws do not contact the threads on your barrel. A lot of the aftermarket compensators, the screws actually go directly into the threads on the barrel, which can be problematic for obvious reasons, and it does damage the threads on your barrel. The way our screws work is they actually press on an internal clamp machined inside the compensator. So it's a more elegant approach, and it's tremendously strong. It resists rotation, but it doesn't damage your barrel. So if you have a threaded barrel shadow gun, you gotta try one of our comps. I mean, if you've never shot a comped gun before, it's a really surprisingly different experience. By the way, this comp is reliable and functions with the standard weight springs in the gun. It's designed to just be a drop-in component. In the unlikely event that you do have issues with extraction, which again are rare, I would say look first at technique, but once that's squared away, you can also try a different recoil spring, a 15-pound spring, if you want to keep using that same MO. It's probably MO at that point. All right, so that is a thread-on compensator, the simplest solution, great aftermarket accessory for any shadow gun that's threaded. You got to try it, all right? We then started doing different and more novel attachment methods because we wanted to achieve a few things. So the next gun that we did was the DR920P. The DR920P comp is a lot of comp. Its purpose is to provide maximum recoil reduction, but also it is a sight tracker gun, which means that the front sight lives on the compensator, not the end of the slide. So if you're an iron sight shooter and you want to try a compensated gun, the DR920P is probably the way to go. People who are very enthusiastic about iron sights, more so than optics, they like this gun because it's a very different shooting experience when your front sight is not reciprocating wildly as you shoot. It's very easy to shoot iron sights quickly with a sight tracker design like this, where the sight is on the comp and is not reciprocating. Considerations for the DRP, it is a lot more compensation. So I would say of all of the compensators, it's the one that's the most likely to be somewhat ammunition sensitive. As long as you go into it with the understanding of that and that you're really driving for more compensation than the others, shouldn't be a problem. With full power ammunition, you're not going to have a problem. I don't want to overemphasize that point, just that if you're shooting really light stuff, you could have some issues without a lighter spring. We actually include the 15-pound spring in the box with the DRP. Just in case you need it, it's there and it's included. But again, that's mostly a super light ammo kind of thing. Big port size, by the way. The port, that wishbone shape, is designed so that a piece of 9mm brass can't fall into your compensator after ejection and make for a really unfortunate day of the range. So that's why that's shaped like that wishbone. You want maximum area, but you don't want a bullet or a fired piece of brass to go down inside the compensator, okay? And that, by the way, this compensator assembly is only on the DRP model, and we use a pin actually to lock the comp in place, so it is not a threaded barrel either. Okay, so then we released the CR920P, which uses the last attachment method that I'm going to talk about, and that is the ultra compact tri-lug proprietary design. Why do we need a tri-lug design? Well, compensators, when they're attached to a threaded barrel, tend to get pretty long. The threaded barrel takes up a lot of the space of the overall footprint, and so if you want to have the gun fit in a holster that's already out in the market, in this case a 48 MOS holster, then you have to have a really compact attachment method, and that's what it's all about. That, and it's a QD design, which is nice. So the CR920P is what you see here. It is a compensated subcompact pistol. We normally say that the CR920P shoots about like an MR size gun. So it really takes the snap out of the gun and makes a subcompact shoot like a significantly larger gun. So if you want that, if you want maximum performance out of a subcompact gun, you're probably not going to find anything else in the market that's this controllable and that's this easy to shoot fast, okay? So that is the CR920P, and this same attachment method is what we leveraged in the latest version, which would be MRP and XRP. So this gun is the XR920P. I'm going to flip it over so you can see what it looks like from this side. You'll notice that we have the same steel compensator that you saw on the CRP, but in an even smaller format. So we wanted this gun to fit in a 17 size holster, and that's what this one does. It has the same lever locking QD attachment method, and this one is in a slightly different version, which is even easier to remove, which is great. But it makes the gun very compact and it fits in existing holsters. From a compensation perspective, people are going to ask which one shoots flatter. So does the DR920P shoot flatter than an XR920P? The answer is yeah, probably. But people are really saying that they find this very controllable. The real difference you're going to find is you don't have a sight tracker on this. The sight on the DRP doesn't move, and the sight on this is on the slide, and of course it does move. So if you're an iron sight shooter, you might want to go toward the DRP. If you're an optic shooter, the XR920P makes a lot of sense. You'll notice the XRP's got a full-length dust cover that shrouds the bottom of the comp. It's a very slick appearance, and I mean, I think this is destined to be kind of a new favorite for a lot of people. Again, we always try to focus on reliability. I would say the XRP and MRP are extremely tolerant of ammunition, more like a thread-on comp. The DRP might be the one where you would want to look at recoil spring weight if you're shooting lighter stuff, more so than these guns. We shot these guns at range day, lots and lots of shooters, lots of different experience levels, lots of different grips and techniques, and we saw essentially no issues with a wide range of ammo. We had 147 and 115 and 124 out there, and it all ran fine. So that is the rather large and growing view of shadow compensators. I'm not going to do the if I had to choose one thing because they all have their own application, but I will say if you have a threaded barrel, by all means, start with one of the thread-on compensators, try that out, and then decide if you want to go into some of the other areas. That's what we have for today. We'll keep sending you videos from SHOT Show. Keep tuned in. We've got more coming. Thanks so much.